Welcome to another book review, and today I'm going to review two books. Why I'm reviewing two books is simply because they were that good and I finished them within 48 hours, I guess you would say, because I finished one in 24 hours and that's yeah. Anyways, we're going to review Little Bird by Rhea Wilde and Twisted King by Rhea Wilde. So, they're a duet. They go together. These books were amazing, to put it simply. Very well written. I love that it's a series, but it's only two books. So I'm new to this, but I guess when there's just two, instead of referring to it as a sequel, people are referring to it as a duet. So this is the Twisted City duet. There is a spin-off titled Wicked Heart, which is the continuation of another character within this one. I don't plan on reading it because I wasn't a fan of that character. I mean, he wasn't like horrible. It didn't pique my interest to continue reading his story. But if you're into that and you want you're into not just duets, but prequels and sequels, and as the story continues, then I suggest start the series. Furthermore, the story goes like this. This is a double perspective story. So it's like a lot of books coming out recently. You get a perspective or part of the story from one character, then you get a part of the story from another character. The story goes, Lex and Wren are the two main characters. Lex is basically mob boss, to sum it up. He's not he owns the city. They never really title the city if I remember correctly. They just refer to it as the city. So he's the head honcho of the city. He has all of his employees or workers or people around him. He has his close-knit people, which is based on about 3 characters. Wren is purely just, how they describe it, a naive woman, not a girl. Naive woman in the story who basically gets kidnapped by Lex. It is one of those, if I remember, Stockholm Syndrome type novels, Beauty and the Beast-ish. She's the beauty, he's the beast. He kidnaps her based purely on revenge because he feels that her father is the person who set out an attack on his family and resulted, no spoiler, it's just what happens, his mother gets killed. So in retaliation, he's like, I'm going to kidnap this guy's daughter. Again, she's not a young little girl. She's like in her 20s, like 28 or something like that. In her 20s. And I'm going to hold her hostage and lightly torture her until he bends at my will. Long story short, no spoiler alerts, end up falling for each other. And when they fall for each other, a whole bunch of stuff ends up happening, to be completely honest. Like, straight domino effect. I love the way this story's written. There is no slow parts. Most of the books I tend to read have a slow beginning. This one is straight, pedal to the metal, gets straight to the point. I love it. It's full of action. It's full of spice. It's full of romance. Yeah, I would say romance. And I love how Rhea explains everything, where it did not leave me with questions. Like, after I read Little Bird, I was instantly like, I need to get to the next book. So I'm glad I was smart enough this time around to go ahead and order the sequel. Same time I ordered the first book. So if you're interested in diving into the series, honestly, just order both books, just to be on the safe side. To not give any spoilers, the sequel continues right after the first one. So, some books tend to do 7 months later or a month later or weeks later, or the sequel tends to just be basically the same story, but from another person's perspective. None of that going on. This book continues exactly right after where this book ends off, which I loved because it's just like basically watching a movie and then putting in the sequel. How the sequel ends does not leave you wanting more. It ties it up with a nice bow, purely. But that's the best way I can sum up this series without giving any spoilers because it's so amazing. I might, honestly, when I start doing these book reviews, have to spoil it a little bit. But, I mean, it's awesome. Like, it's really good. There's a lot. And another thing, like, don't get it twisted. This is not a damsel in distress story. Wren holds her own. I mean, she's basically another mob boss's daughter. So, you know, she knows how to wield a gun. She knows how to fight. Of course, there's plenty of comedy in this book where, as I was reading, I ended up laughing out loud. This story kind of gives me Mr. and Mrs. Smith vibes. If you have not seen that movie with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt, it's basically like a touch of that and mixed with mob Scarface-y kind of vibes, which is cool. I would not say it's not a bully romance, so don't think, oh, this is one of those she's getting bullied and get into it type of feels. No, it's more of just like Beauty and the Beast. There's trauma in the beginning where she's kidnapped and she's sad because she's kidnapped. And then naturally they start, you know, learning more about each other and kind of falling for each other in a way. Best way I can give you a description without spoiling it. Out of 1 out of 5, I have no reason to not give it a 5. Like, these books were really well written, really good. Even the sequel did not slow down the pace. It was strictly, like, awesome. I finished the first one. I started it at around noon-ish. I stopped after 2 hours. I ended up finishing it that night after 3 more hours. So if you like sit down and read it for 5 hours, you'll finish the first one. If you're really into it like I was, I finished the second one within 4 hours. And as you can see the thickness, not too bad. I hope this gets you enticed. If you're into some mafia, romance, badass woman going against a badass man vibage, I say pick it up. It's a good read. So thank you for watching my book review, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.